The system is failing. We're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money. It's a command and control economy where the government tells you everything. I just don't trust our government. And they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And the more they print, the less value, purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. People are talking about inflation. I think we're in depression right now, and we're going to be the biggest depression in world history.
In the 1970s, that's when the world was changing.
The biggest bust in the history of the world is coming up. It's pensions. They trusted the government. They trusted their pension would be there, and it's going to go bust. And that's us. We'd get crushed.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today, as it certainly seems like XRP adoption is picking up. The language that we all need to see being circulated in the mainstream is circulating. And you're about to get chills down your spine with this video, as the Bank of Russia a couple days ago stated it's necessary to continue to soon legalize cross-border payments, specifically in cryptocurrencies. We know that the Bank of Russia has done trials with XRP. This document has been circulated within the XRP community for quite a long time. And King Solomon actually made a video about it recently, but that's besides the point. XRP's utility is synonymous with cross-border payments, and them trying to make a legal framework in Russia lets all of us know that this is in the front lines of their attention. Guys, why is this important? It's important because China, Russia, India, the BRICS nations, they've all been pivoting over from a US dollar system to an asset-backed system. And we're finally getting it. All while at the same time, SWIFT, in harmony with these announcements, is stating that within the next 3 months, the go live for ISO 20022 for cross-border payments is about to happen, and everyone's focus should be on testing. This is absolutely massive, as we know that ISO 20022 has coins like XRP, XDC, Stellar, Algorand, and IOTA. This is massive, and there seems to be a coordinated attempt to announce all of these things at around the same time. And trust me when I tell all of you, if you're not excited by now, you're not seeing the big picture. Everything's headed in our direction, and it's about to be life-changing. You see, guys, here we have from Wrath of Kahneman, who has zero interest in trying to be hypey in this community, stating that it's interesting how Swift's PR messaging seems to be converging with Ripple's. Here they introduce new machine learning that predicts payment flows and throw in tokenization, CBDC, low value payments, and interoperability to boost. This is all synonymous with Ripple and XRP's marketing as well. All of this is at the same time. While we saw that message from the Bank of Russia, we see the Reserve Bank of India, which has connections to Ripple and XRP as well, has reportedly asked 4 public sector banks to run a pilot for CBDC projects ahead of a possible rollout in this financial year. Ladies and gentlemen, I think some groundbreaking developments are about to come for our digital asset, and all of you should be expecting it. Now, when we look at the macro, and we zoom out at these geopolitical events, we see that OPEC cut production, China is publicly opposed to price cap on Russian oil, and Russia warns the West of retaliation. We also need to understand that Europe is undergoing a massive energy crisis, and sanctions against Russia have done nothing but hurt Europe, and actually has made the Russian economy stronger, as we can see by the ruble's strength. Who's the biggest oil competitor? China. Who is considering joining the BRICS nations? Saudi Arabia. What else is Saudi Arabia considering? oil sales to China in won instead of dollars. This is all about shifting power away from the US dollar and into an asset-backed system. SDRs, precious metals, potentially XRP as well, will all be part of these asset-backed systems, this asset-backed reset. And all of you need to understand where the world economy is going. Now guys, that we understand and have that under our belts, we know that SWIFT and ISO is going live. We understand that the BRICS nations are shifting away from the US dollar. We understand that cross-border payments in Russia is about to be legalized specifically with crypto. And it's all aligning with a potential settlement this month of September. Now guys, I know, we've heard it before and we'll hear it again. But the thing is now, we are almost 2 years into this case. Summary judgment is afoot. And we've had enough time for the SEC to inflict pain upon XRP retail investors. They've wasted our time, hindered our profits, and now this case is coming to an end. And Jungle Link put out what I believe is one of the best videos he's made in a long time, discussing why September, right now, may be the best time for a settlement to happen in this case. Part of the reason he gives is because with this Joe Biden crypto executive order, agencies need to report back to the White House. And Gary Gensler would like to have a great win under his belt. It'll be perceived as a great win for him as if he has a big fine from Ripple and BlockFi as well. And it's something we cannot ignore. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to the next month as we have monumental XRP developments, the Flare network going live, and the ETH 2.0 merge coming as well. Now I'm gonna play you a powerful clip from Jungle Link, and I highly recommend you all give him a follow, as he's been a staple in the XRP army for a long time. And this video is going to make you understand how close we are to finally being given the freedom to dominate this crypto market. Please take a listen.
Crypto legal expert says XRP settlement between the SEC and Ripple could be imminent. I think this is really the key to everything. We see a legal expert who is closely following the U.S. Securities and Exchange crypto case against Ripple, says the window for a potential settlement has arrived. Again, this is a quote from Jeremy Hogan. I think it's a couple weeks back, but it says, according to Hogan, now is the ideal and logical time for the parties to reach an agreement since both sides have laid out their case. There's nothing else to discover. Yes, we got to get those Hinman documents. SEC knows if this continues, we're going to get our hands on it. But from Ripple's perspective, they've already deposed everyone. They probably know to a T what those emails contain. They just want to get them as evidence. The SEC is not going to want to turn them up. We see the most likely settlement time frame is between now and the end of November because the cards will be all on the table. There's nothing else to argue about. You see the evidence of the case, you sit down, you're going to hash out a deal here. Now, this is the deal. If Ripple decides to take this thing all the way to the end, yeah, they might be able to gamble on fair notice, but likely they sold XRP at some point in time to an investor that was relying on their efforts to build value. That's past stuff. That's settled with the checkbook. We know we probably will lose somewhere in there. But forward looking, how things are set up right now, Ripple does not sell XRP to institutional investors, individual investors, nobody. The only time currently that they are selling XRP is in support of on-demand liquidity to settle a payment. You can't argue that there's investors investing in a common enterprise because there's no investors. There's only users of XRP in terms of buying from Ripple, which is the key component here. It's a loss forward looking, and they might get some, minor wins looking back. You might as well sit down, hash this out, get a big win for Gary Gensler because he wants to put in this year's fiscal report. They brought BlockFi under compliance and Ripple, and they got big fines because what's going to happen? All of these reports are going to go into Congress, and they are going to divvy up control of the crypto market to various regulators. The SEC wants to show they have this under control, they are making progress, and if they want those settlement numbers in this year's fiscal year, if they want that win to be on that report, it has to be closed out by the end of this month. I think that's what Gary ultimately wants, and they probably will string this all the way to the end to put maximum pressure on Ripple and see what kind of deal they can squeeze out of them. There's probably not absolute victory for either side taking this to the end, and it just makes the most logical sense to wrap this up with some sort of agreeable deal they both can live with. I think now is the time. The last thing I'll add is I don't think this requirement that all the XRP Ripple sells is used in on-demand liquidity or other consumptive use cases will be permanent. The frameworks will roll out so you can sell to investors, and with that will come reporting requirements. Things like how soon will banks really be adopting this technology? How long are executives at Ripple actually on XRP? How much XRP is Brad and Chris and the other executives selling versus what they're holding? How much runway and funding do they have? All this kind of things. It's not just Ripple, it's going to be all the crypto projects. If you're going to want to raise money from investors in the United States, you're going to have to report stuff. And I think it's only understandable. I posted up a short today where Vitalik is talking about, he's actually gloating that they dumped 70,000 Ethereum tokens on investors' heads at the peak of 2017 in order to raise the capital needed to build out the Ethereum blockchain and bring it into ETH 2.0. I mean, that's something people should have known, that they were getting ready to sell those tokens, that you still had all of this building to do. And quite literally, that is an investment offering if I've ever seen one. But until we get those regulatory frameworks, I don't believe that it's possible for a project to sell, cryptocurrencies in the United States to investors in a compliant manner. Good thing we have on-demand liquidity and other useful, services for XRP where you can, deploy that for its utility purposes. I think that's what's really key. Now, I hate to keep circling back to this, but I saw this, article, Coinbase will not censor any transactions on Ethereum after merge. And the quote is, Coinbase plans not to censor any transactions on the Ethereum network. You can't give people this capability. In a decentralized system, it's no longer decentralized if someone can censor transactions. And the minute you give someone the ability to do that, eventually they will. This is a big problem, and I'm not so sure it's a problem. It might be a design feature. I've heard Joe Lubin talk about, well, in some circumstances, maybe we need to be able to roll back transactions. I think that's a deal breaker long-term for Ethereum if that's the case. And not just Ethereum, any blockchain that wants to do this. You can't have that capability if you're going to have true decentralized and immutable value. It just can't happen. I don't care what regulators want. It's a deal breaker.
Now, guys, that was a lot to unpack. First and foremost, Jungle Link describes how this is most likely going to be the month where a settlement could happen. The reason being is because they have to report back to the White House for this executive order, and he, Gary Gensler, wants to show that he has the crypto space under control, because right now it's not looking good for little old Gary. We can see the corruption. We saw Jay Clayton, Bill Hinman, Mark Berger completely sue Ripple on the last day that they were in office, used it as a weapon to try and hinder Ripple and XRP adoption. It succeeded for a short period of time, but that window is closing. In the meantime, Ripple has been building, and I guarantee you there is no coincidence that over the last month, as this case is coming to a potential end sooner than we expect, the Digital Dollar Project, as well as FedNow, made powerful announcements about launching their sandbox, and FedNow giving a timeline for when they're going to release their product. I'm not saying right now FedNow is going to be using XRP. But all I'm saying is, FedNow is partnered with Volante, Finstra, Temenos, which are prominent Ripple partners. Ripple's also on the Faster Payments Council. And all I'm saying is, everything is pointing in the Ripple and XRP direction. We also heard Jungle Link describe reporting requirements. Ripple has by far been the most transparent crypto company on the planet, and it's not even close. And he gives the example of Vitalik selling 70,000 Ether towards the peak of the 2017-18 bull run. on the heads of retail investors to fund Ether development. That is quite literally a security. The part of this market, in this case, that frustrates me the most is the hypocrisy. Ether was an unregistered illegal security that was purposefully doing things as cryptically as they could, hiding whale wallets. I'm not a big fan of Ether, but right now they're ahead, and the merge is about to take place. And overall, what this is going to mean moving forward, this Ripple case is going to give guidelines for how the crypto market is going to have to report on sales moving forward. I'm extremely excited about this, as we're going to get rid of a lot of the scams, and this is going to become a very serious space. Once the space becomes regulated and serious, as Kevin O'Leary said, the trillions upon trillions of dollars in capital standing by will flood this market, and as a direct consequence, 99% of cryptos will die, but the compliant ones, the utility ones, will absolutely fly. Now, as you keep all of that in your minds, you guys all know my opinion on the current state of the market, as I believe the bottom has been in June. Right now, we are teetering on the brink of those lows post-Terra UST, post-Celsius Voyager bankruptcies. Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard Raoul Pal discuss how he believes this is the current bottom. We know how most retail investors believe that the bottom is not in yet, and I believe retail will be wrong. But here we also see that blockchain backer is discussing is the bottom in as well, using some important technical indicators. First and foremost, we have the 50-week moving average crossing the 100-week moving average, and each time this occurs, the bottom was already in. That should be more confidence. When looking at the market cap of Bitcoin, this shows that the bottom could potentially be in as well. And in the rest of this thread, he also gives his 2 cents using numerous indicators why the bottom could be in. Ladies and gentlemen, what's important to note is that right now, we're closer than we've ever been before to some utility, to adoption, to regulatory clarity. The majority of people are disinterested in the crypto market, and that's typically when the majority of money is made. If you're just getting into this market, this is the best time since 2020 to really solidify your futures. Once everyone's excited again, I will be taking aggressive predatory profits, because there will be the great financial collapse we all expect. I just personally believe before we get there, there will be one more bullish crypto rally that will allow us to make off like bandits, secure some capital, stand on the side, watch everything fall, and then re-enter at lows. Remember, we're invested in XRP's on-demand liquidity, meant to solve a liquidity crisis. It is a liquidity solution, and I've been seeing a lot of liquidity drying up from the system. There's no coincidences, my friends. XRP is so deeply ingrained in the New World Order financial system that it's not even funny. And as we see ISO 20022 with SWIFT going live, FedNow, the digital dollar project, Russia, China, BRICS nations, everyone's getting ready. This executive order is coming, and this Ripple XRP settlement is on standby. The most outstanding financial revolution and the greatest transfer of wealth is upon us, and 99% of the planet is sleeping on it. But we are the 1% of people that have been paying attention for years. We are the new 1%, and we deserve every penny we're about to make. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.